Hi everybody, Red Hill Eagle here. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 4 of Best for Business. It's our WWE 2016 save, and it's Monday, week 3 of July. It's Monday Night Raw. I nearly said Nitro then. Been recording a lot of my WCW series recently. Kick off with a pre-show match. It's for the Women's Championship. Thought we'd do something a little bit different. We've gone for a 6-way just to get a few of them on the card, really. 41 overall. Pre-show bout that had terrible wrestling, non-existent crowd heat. But Charlotte did get the win against Nikki Bella, Paige, Sasha Banks, Naomi, and Tamina. 16 minutes, 6 seconds this one went, and she caused Tamina to submit with a figure 8 leg lock. So it's defense number 1 of the Women's Championship. Don't know if that was true to life or whether she had made defenses before this in real life, but there we go. That's just our opening pre-show match. 87 rating. Kick off with Stephanie and Triple H in the ring, and they are about to introduce the returning WWE legend, Christian Cage. We're only bringing him in really as a personality. We're going to use him as a road agent as well. But he's got some pretty decent skills there. But yeah, we're just kind of looking for a few more people backstage. We've only really got Daniel Bryan, who does the interviews at the moment. Now, this is probably I'm probably way off how stuff was really done in 2016 in the way shows were put together. I don't really know how to do it any other way. I only really watched wrestling for about 3 years, from 92 to about 94, late 94. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure people like Christian Cage wouldn't have just stood there with a microphone and, things aren't going to be the way they were, and I'm sorry if you don't like that. I've just got to book the way I know how to book. But this gets a rating of 70 with the introduction of Christian Cage. Jack Swagger takes on Ryback, rating of 63. 13 minutes 17 seconds in a decent match. He won it by submission with a Patriot lock. Yeah, I'm still just jobbing Ryback out. He's on his way out, and thought I'd give Jack Swagger the victory here. Seth Rollins with a self-promo, kind of slags off Dean Ambrose a little bit, rating of 67. Bit disappointed with that. 67 doesn't. Well, that's awful. Okay, I've learned something there. He can't work without a script. Okay, got to the end of this, booking this show. Suddenly realised I hadn't used Seth Rollins. We're really struggling for major stars. It's going to be like this for a few weeks. Things aren't going to go as smoothly as I want. Similar to the WCW save, it's going to take a while to get the roster into shape. I think we've got 2 major stars, and I think we've got 5 stars, but 4 of those are over the age of 45. So we've got a lot of work to do to get more people over. But this is why I wanted to do this save. This is why I wanted to, do a save with sort of modern guys and just try to get WWE back to how I remember it, and that'll come across with the way I book these shows. But yeah, just get some youngsters over. But yeah, Seth Rollins with a self-promo here at 67. Bo Dallas and Heath Slater team up to take on Lucha Dragons. 58 rating, pretty poor. But Lucha Dragons do get the win in 8 minutes 29 when Kalisto pinned Heath Slater with Salida del Sol. Bo Dallas was the weak link. It's a shame that, really. I'd like to get him over to some extent. I don't know if it's going to happen, to be honest. So yeah, this was just get a tag team match on the card. We've got lots of tag teams, but no real, really big sort of tag teams. So just trying to sort of strengthen that division. And also, I've found that because we've got a lot of tag teams, there aren't as many singles wrestlers to sort of go around, if you know what I mean. Especially if I'm going to have the Intercontinental belt and the US belt and the World title belt, I might need to rethink that. I don't know. I don't really like using tag team wrestlers in singles matches. Again, very old school of me. In the early 90s, you wouldn't have seen, or very rarely would you have seen, one half of the Nasty Boys take on another guy, or one half of the Legion of Doom take on another guy. It just didn't really happen. As I say, very, very rarely. So yeah, I must admit, I'm probably going to be looking at making a few signings. We've still got some people in development I can bring through. Might have to look at that. Sami Zayn is backstage and he cuts a promo on Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens comes along and attacks him from behind. knocking Sami Zayn to the ground and just beats him down for a bit. Rating of 70, so it's not too awful. I just wanted to develop this storyline. This is one of the pre-built storylines, pre-built into the mod. I don't know what was going on. I don't know the history of this storyline. So I'm kind of just going through the motions with this. We'll get it out of the way and then, start putting in a few more of my own. Rusev takes on Apollo Crews. This is for the Bulgarian Heavyweight Championship. Of course, that is now what Rusev has called it, and he demands that the ring announcers call it that as well. So here we go with it. 64 rating. Rusev gets the win in 11 minutes 16 by pinfall with a ballplex. Defense number 1 of the heavyweight title. It hasn't said it there, but Lana did come in and interfere against Apollo Crews to help Rusev get the win. We don't want to be done with this storyline straight away. We want to get something a little bit more out of these two, so didn't just want to kind of end with a sort of clean victory there. But Lana, I will just show you that I put it in there. The match to end with managerial interference. So yeah, 64, nothing great. So yeah, maybe we won't keep it going that long, but yeah, again, we're just trying to get these two guys over a little bit more. So then post-match, Apollo Crews chases Rusev and Lana to the back, basically. Yeah, that was all there is to it. Just develop the storyline a little bit more. Shame it's lost heat. 53 overall. And then the Ascension take on Golden Truth. We haven't used Golden Truth yet, and I think good idea to use them. They're both aging, so perfect opportunity to get them to put some other teams over. And we did have the Ascension go over in this one in 10 minutes 18 when Connor pinned R-Truth with a handful of tights. So yeah, needed to cheat to get the win, but they do get the win. Hopefully get a bit of pop from that. Rating of 60 though, nothing special. Okay, then we've got like a sort of comedic storyline, if you like, going on at the moment. So Daniel Bryan is interviewing the Usos. They come out to conduct their interview, and Daniel Bryan sort of talking for a little bit. There's a tag team here. They're on the rise. They've got a few victories under their belt, and they're really. But then Simon Gotch and Aiden English, I'm always going to say this wrong. The Vaudevillains. Please let me know if I'm saying that wrong. The Vaudevillains come out, and before any of the Usos can even get a word out, the Vaudevillains sort of interrupt, but they don't interrupt with any sort of normal words or sentences. They're just kind of just as like Jey Uso is about to say, well, they're literally just making a whole mockery of the interview and just really basically pissing the Usos off, and that's kind of what we're just doing with this one for the moment. I had a couple of other little ideas for some angles that we could have done with these two teams. I decided to go with this one here, and we're going to develop it. Obviously, we're going to develop it. The Usos are obviously going to reach their limit sooner or later and just kind of lash out in some way. But I think it would just be kind of a comedy thing, really, with the Vaudevillains just basically just getting in the Usos' way, just annoying them. Rating of 62 overall. Chris Jericho takes on Dolph Ziggler. Although we gave Jericho the win, I'm hoping Dolph might get a little bit of pop from it. He's going up against someone who's still really, really popular. And we got good heat from this one and decent wrestling. Jericho did get the win in 12 minutes 17 by pinfall, but he used the ropes for leverage, so he didn't manage to get his normal Walls of Jericho on. Rating of 64 overall. And then Cesaro comes out post-match, and he bit of a promo on Jericho, but also makes a challenge to Jericho for uncensored. But Jericho says that's not going to happen. I've got a friend of mine who you're going to have to face first. This gets a rating of 81, and I just didn't want these two to face off just yet, so I just kind of put in a little bit, and I know it seems a little bit forced, but in all honesty, it is. But yeah, Jericho's sort of demanding that Cesaro takes on someone else first off, and that someone else is Curtis Axel, who doesn't come onto the screen or anything, but he just says you're going to take on Curtis Axel at Uncensored. Get through him, and I might think about giving you a match. Then we move on to AJ Styles as he takes on Titus O'Neil. Rating 77, which is actually pretty decent. Titus O'Neil's unimportant. So yeah, AJ Styles, to be fair, AJ Styles absolutely carried it with a rating of 85. Titus O'Neil only a 38, so yeah, AJ Styles working some absolute magic there. Decent match. AJ Styles gets the win in 11 minutes 58 by pinfall with a Styles clash. This was just to get AJ on the card, get him a win. I'm also hoping I might be able to get a little bit of pop on Titus O'Neil. He's not going to be pushed into the main event or anything drastic like that, but we're just trying to bolster that mid card a little bit as well. And then post match, John Cena appears, cuts a promo on Styles, and says there's no one in his locker room that's better than me. It's certainly not you. Rating of 72. But then Baron Corbin comes out, and don't ask me why. I'm just setting up a match for Uncensored. Baron Corbin will take on John Cena. Again, don't quite want the Cena AJ Styles thing to go ahead just yet. So Baron Corbin comes out and he just sort of makes a comment that, you know, there are people out there that are better than you, and I want to prove that I am Uncensored. So yeah, very basic. This is a way for us to kind of get that match announced for Uncensored. AJ Styles, sorry, no, John Cena will take on Baron Corbin. So these two guys, Cena and Corbin, just stare down as we go off air, and that's a rating of 70. So what we're going to get overall, I'm not 100% sure this is going to be great. 68. Yeah, I was kind of roughly what I was expecting. As with the WCW save, we're struggling with the storylines at the moment. Need to get more people over. I could have 10 storylines, but we've only got, what did I say, 2 major stars and 5 stars. So realistically, we've only got sort of 7 people who can sort of really kind of put a stamp on storylines. That's not enough. Okay, I need at least 5 major stars and probably a good 6 stars to comfortably have solid, consistent, good storylines. So that's what we're aiming for. So for the moment, it's going to be a bit rubbish. The WTW save was a bit like this. I've just got there with that save, I think. You know, maybe on the edge, there might be a storyline that might just knock it down again. But we're pretty much there. This one's going to take a few weeks as well. Desperate to get people over. I could use people like The Undertaker a lot more often. He's just not a wrestler anymore. And if he was, he's going to wrestle what, once a year, a couple of times a year. Unless I put him in as a manager or someone's mentor, I just can't see the Undertaker doing that sort of thing. But maybe we'll have to think about it. But yeah, rating of 68. I'll close it off now. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give a like and subscribe. Keep going with it. It will get better. The WCW one has done it. I'm confident this one will do in time as well. Thanks for watching. Take care. Goodbye.